Hey yo, okay. As far as I know, I'm live. Y'all come into the chat, say something just so I can make sure that I know that I'm live. Unfortunately, restream, that's something that y'all gotta work on. Don't get me wrong, StreamYard ain't perfect either. All right, there we go. Truth Bomb Jake. Welcome to the live. Haven't seen you in a while, Jake. Chain with Ice. Welcome. Yeah. Um Truth Bomb, I don't know if you've been to my lives since I started using Restream. Pretty much I use it just for my solos. I've had a panel a couple times, but I'm not gonna use it for panels anymore because the last time I had a panel, it really wasn't a good experience. So I'm saving, you know, whenever I do my solos, I'll go on here. It serves this purpose for that. But when I need a panel, I'm gonna open it up on StreamYard. Or let me go ahead and bring this up. What up, Tommy Temper? Let me go ahead and bring this up. The other option that I'm going to be using, because StreamYard, you only get 20 hours, right? 20 hours for the month, which typically is not a problem for me, especially recently. I haven't been able to dedicate as much time to my channel as I would like to, but I gotta, prioritize life, you know. Hold on. My dog is trying to go into the next door neighbor's yard, and I ain't with that. All right. So, anyways, yeah, I'm walking my dog, so y'all gonna hear the ambient noise. But what up, JD Boxing? All right, so this is hold on. Oh, I got Dubois. I'll go ahead and say that now because chances are I'm probably not gonna get to make a prediction video just with all the stuff I'm dealing with. But um, my honest opinion, I think Dubois, like, I've heard some people say, oh, people think Dubois is just gonna blow out Joyce and all that. A lot of people were saying the same shit about Tank and Santa Cruz. Oh, Santa Cruz is gonna beat him, watch, or he's gonna make it competitive, and we saw what happened. So I'm not saying it's the same fight. I'm just saying my gut told me then it wasn't gonna end well for Leo. My gut's telling me now it ain't gonna end well for Joyce. So we'll see. We'll see if my gut is right or wrong. But yeah, that's my prediction for that. Um, yeah, that ain't my dog. That's the dog across the street. My dog is actually really quiet. He doesn't bark unless I know how to get him to bark, but he very rarely barks on his own. Anyways, back to what I was saying. The other option that I'm gonna start using for my lives, and some of y'all gonna laugh when y'all hear me say this, is PlayStation Network. Now, let me go ahead and explain. All right. On we take a look at some of my last streams, you'll notice, it's gameplay. There's a couple games where it's just me just playing, and then there's some games where I'm able to get y'all involved. And I found out that you can actually like have a party. So like I can create a party, I can invite y'all, but here there is a catch though. And that is anybody who wants to join the panel will have to have a PlayStation Network ID. You don't have to have a PlayStation per se, but there is there's something that I need to work around, and Tommy knows what I'm talking about because we were gonna test this out real quick yesterday. But the problem is, if you don't have a PlayStation, I don't think it'll allow you to utilize the features on the app. So I'm trying to find a workaround for that. But if I can find a workaround for that, I will start going live using PlayStation Network, and I'll be able to have panels. Now nobody will be able to like show their face or anything like that, which is cool with me because we're talking boxing. Like I'm sure some of y'all motherfuckers look good and all, no homo, but it's not really relevant to the boxing talk. Not only that, but there's some games um, that I would like to play with y'all that I can't because they're not really like the games that I played. Y'all don't need to be on voice chat to play. Now it would make it more enjoyable, and if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, I'm referring to Champed Up, Blather Around, and what's that other one? Quiplash 3. Those are the those are the three main games that I've been playing with y'all. Doing these tests for these games. There's other ones that we could do that will involve more speaking. And I would like to utilize those as well. Um, because there's one that I have is called Talking Points, and I can't do it with y'all without having y'all on voice. And it'll be really fun. Like I think we will have a good time. We can incorporate boxing into it. So, and that's what I try to do. I try I try to incorporate boxing as much as I can into these games because we are the boxing community. And don't get me wrong, I don't mind people coming to play the games, but I want to attract more viewers for boxing, not for the games themselves. The games are meant for us to bond, have a good time, have some laughs. Maybe I could use some of the events that happen in my boxing memes. So that's the whole purpose of the games is for fun, camaraderie, and it'll help generate some content that I could use as well. When funny shit happens, it can go into the boxing memes or YTBC moments, you know. And give me a second because I'm gonna look at the chat real quick. I gotta get in a spot where the sun isn't shining directly onto my phone. What up, uh, Xavier? Um, Xavier, just real quick. Last I heard, you were doing uh oh the MMA thing. Get get over here. You're not gonna shit and piss in the street. Get over here, my dog. But anyways, um, oh yeah, but Xavier, real quick, cause I've been trying to pop in there whenever I can to see how you're doing in the Mecca. Are you still in it? Cause last I heard you were going up against Nick. And I know you and Nick, y'all have a lot of animosity toward each other. And I was hearing things that you got into Nick's head. So I want to know if you're still in it. Did you defeat Nick? Was that a good a good week for you? Was it a good week for him? I just want to know if you could update me because that's the last I heard that you was going up against Nick in the Mecca and that you had got inside his head is what I was hearing. Um where is the eat booty shirts? Oh yeah. Here's the thing, JD. And for those of y'all who don't know, what JD Boxing is talking about is there's another game that I have, but there's an issue with that game, and I'm gonna address that right now. So there's a game called TKO, but it's not TKO as in technical knockout. It's TKO as in t-shirt knockout. Basically, you just kind of come up with funny ass t-shirts. People vote which ones they like better. It's fun. Like you get to draw and add text and stuff, and we had a good time playing it. JD, I think Tommy Temper played it. There, out of all the games that I've played with y'all, it's probably the one that I played the least with with y'all. Um, but what's cool about that is you can actually buy the shirts you create. Like at the end of the game, it gives you there's an option for you to buy a shirt if you want to, and I think they're like $20 or they're not expensive. They're they're fairly cheap. So that's what JD is talking about. But anyways, yeah, there is one hurdle that I need to find a workaround for the PlayStation Network thing. But I'm just letting y'all know if I go that route, um, if uh, sorry, I started looking at the comments. Um, but if I'm able to find that workaround when I do those lives, you'll have to, at the very least, you'll have to have the PlayStation Network app. You know, so um, but you won't have to if you have a PlayStation or you have a PlayStation Network ID already that allows you to use the chat option on the app, then you could just use that, and you all you have to do is just add me as a friend on PSN, and I'll bring you on I could bring you on the panel whenever I go live. Um, and it will either be to talk boxing or like if we're doing these games that require the talking, or even the ones that don't. I think like Champed Up will probably be even more fun if I had other people on the panel commenting and stuff. So, you know, let's take a look. Wait, what? Hey, what up, Ronald Finkley? Sorry, I was reading Xavier's comment. Are you still in it though? I know you said you lost to Nick, and it seems like y'all are cool now. Um, but are you still in the Mecca? Because I know losing doesn't automatically eliminate you. I know the eliminations, I think they come by vote, if I'm not mistaken. And they only eliminate, I think, 2 people a week. So like you could have lost, but that doesn't mean that you're out. So are you still in it? Like, because the ones I'm rooting for are Xavier and Jack Attack. And if it comes down to Xavier versus Jack Attack, well then I got Xavier because we're just tighter than I am with Jack Attack. But Jack Attack is cool as hell. As far as I know, everybody else in the Mecca, I'm indifferent to. Like I don't hate them, but I'm indifferent to them. And I do think that is funny. There's a dude over there in the MMA community. I hear so much about him. They say that he's annoying, that he thinks he's the shit and all this. And he got eliminated the first week. He's the first one to get eliminated. Hold on, let me turn up the brightness on my phone. because that's part of the problem. Why I'm having a hard time. But yeah, as far as like, I'm not doing away with StreamYard altogether. I'm just putting that out there. I'm just looking for other avenues to do the streaming because when I do go hard on the streaming, I run out of the hours fairly quickly. 20 hours isn't enough. Like right now, 20 hours is enough. I probably should have just did this on StreamYard to be honest. Because we're like pretty late into the month and I don't know that I use StreamYard at all yet, actually. I probably have a full 20 hours. But that's not always gonna be the case. There's gonna be times where I get back to doing a lot of lives and some of them may be long and they're going to eat through those, and I want to have a panel that's going to eat through those hours to help offset that. If I do the PlayStation Network thing, it'll help with that. So, and I'm pretty sure I am going to end up using PlayStation Network. Like, I already know of one workaround that I could do. Um, I'm trying to avoid that one, but if it comes down to it, that's what I'll do if that's what I have to, because like I said, 20 hours is just not going to be enough all the time. So just letting y'all know, like if you got memory on your phone, if you don't mind downloading another app, um, you know, you could download the PSN app, PlayStation Network, and then, like I said, like it's going to be one of two things. Either you're going to create your own uh profile, or I might have to create some dummy profiles and and then like just let you know, hey, this is the one you're going to use, today. And you might have to not use that one the next time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to go that route because that, to me, that kind of muddies it up a little bit. I'd rather y'all have your own. But other than that, it'll be pretty much like using StreamYard. You go on your phone, you go, except you'll just, for this, you'll go into an app instead of going to a web browser. And to be honest, I like the way that the PlayStation Network stuff looks. Like, I don't, it's, I don't have to do a whole lot of setting up for the PlayStation Network. And there's features that I recently found out about that I wasn't even aware of. So I'm gonna start using those features when I go live on PlayStation Network. So it'll be it'll be fun, like if you really enjoy partaking in my lives, I think it'll be worth it to download the PlayStation Network app. What up, Toby Bartlett? Um, JD, I haven't even started because the reality is this: I just got too much on my plate. Like that's why I haven't been on live or anything. Oh, what up, Ed? Collar. Sorry. Like I'm outside and the sun is bright and it makes it kind of hard to see my phone. What up, James Jameson? If I didn't mention it, some of y'all, I apologize because I don't like to ignore my audience. I like to make y'all feel welcome. I don't know, maybe it's because I live in the South and I'm just used to the Southern hospitality. I don't know, maybe it's just part of who I am, but I do sincerely apologize to anybody I didn't greet. It's not on purpose. Uh, like the Florida sun, just it makes it hard to see your phone because it's so bright. Not only that, but I got a screen protector on my phone, and I think because my phone screen actually goes pretty bright, but I think the combination of the Florida sun plus I got a screen protector, I think that kind of affects the brightness. Um, and I ain't gonna rock my phone without one because that's a disaster waiting to happen. So, but my phone wasn't cheap, so I'm not trying to replace it anytime soon. But but yeah, like just letting y'all know, just consider downloading the PSN app. If you already have a PSN ID, then there's not really anything more you got to do. You probably already have the app and all that, and it's like I said, like this is what I would if there was a boxing game on the PS4, like a legit boxing game, I would buy that shit just for the lives. And I wouldn't be playing it. I probably would just, put two random boxers in there and and have them slug it out while we talk. And that'll just be the visuals. Or like if we're talking about a specific fight, like let's say Danny Garcia versus Keith Thurman. I could put them in there on the game and we could talk about the fight, not the fight that's happening on the game, but that'll be the visual. It'll be relevant to what we're talking about somewhat. Maybe we could keep a tally of how many rounds each one was able to win and see how accurate it comes it is come game, fight night. I think that would be interesting. We could we could literally talk boxing and test the accuracy of the game, you know? Like I think that'd be interesting. Y'all tell me if I'm crazy. But yeah, unfortunately, they don't have one that came out for that console generation. Hopefully, they come out with one at some point because I would definitely like to do that. I think it'd be interesting. Really? Fight night round? Okay. So what I'm at this, here's the thing though, Tommy. I get you. Like that's a good idea. Fight night round two or round three on the PS2. I could probably find it for literally pennies. But the only thing about that is going to be an old ass roster, which is not entirely a problem. You can always create the um the current ones, but that's going to take a lot of work. That's going to take a lot of time. Like I got to sit there for hours creating Keith Thurman and Danny Garcia and Sean Porter and Deontay Wilder and Anthony Joshua and Babbitt and uh Matthias and Rashidi Ellis and the Charlos and Triple G. I got to try to create all of them on Fight Night round three on the PS2. And then I got to try to figure out the like the statistics on each and every one of them. So it's not just creating the player model is going to be time consuming, but also creating the stats accurately. That will be extremely like if I was if YouTube, I'll put it to this way, if YouTube was my main source of income, I would do it, but because it's a zero source of income, that's too much work. It's too much work to put into to creating Like I got other stuff I gotta do. That's gonna make it extremely hard for me to put content out when I start putting content out on the regular. But Tommy, I do appreciate the effort and the suggestion. I might still get it, but it would probably be just random fighters being thrown in there, to be honest. I don't see myself putting in unless there's a way for me to import the new fighters, like somebody else has created them, and for me to import them. I don't see me putting, it's going to be a bunch of retired boxers every time. Round two had the most fighters. Oh, thanks, JD. You dig the idea? Yeah, I think that would be interesting. So, and I would love for EA or somebody, whether it be EA or whoever, just come out with a boxing game. Somebody do a Kickstarter, something like, like, because I think that would be really good. Like fight week. Think about it. Fight week. We got, a fight that we're all looking forward to. I could put in the two boxers that are gonna fight. I can open up the panel. We can talk. And at the end of the stream, we check and see who won how many rounds. And if there's a knockout, then we restart and we compare how many knockouts and all that stuff. And then we can see how accurate it was on fight night, you know? But the whole time we're talking about the fight, we're not even paying attention to it other than the rounds. Um, you know what I'm saying? So I think that would be cool. It's like killing two birds with one stone. We're having we're being entertained by the game, and it'll be CPU versus CPU. And then but while that's going on, we're talking about what we think about the fight. You know what I'm saying? Like kind of like what we already do, just instead of seeing these random or not random, but these avatars that we've picked on StreamYard in the background, you'll see actual fight action. Well, not actual, digital fight action. And I think that'll be interesting. Oh, because for one, that makes sure that y'all can't time each other out and hide each other. Um, I'm just addressing Ed's question. And two, when there is somebody who's not blue, we can look at them like they're funny. Everybody gets a wrench except for people I'm not sure of, people who are obvious trolls. They don't get a wrench, but everybody else gets a wrench, and it just ensures the I feel like it just ensures that people who shouldn't be getting timed out don't get timed out, and the people who haven't earned their stripes, they and it doesn't take much. I mean, you just have to prove you're not a straight up troll. I don't mind friendly trolling. Prove you're not a straight up troll, and just show that you're somewhat of a decent person. Just give me a second. I got some stuff in my car I'm trying to take inside since I'm out here. But yeah, like those are my thoughts. If y'all didn't catch the question earlier, JD asked me my thoughts on Joyce versus Dubois. I got Dubois I don't even think it's going to be close. I think Joyce is just a guy who's past his prime who came in late. You know, he started off past his prime. As a prospect, he does all right, but he's slow. He's not as refined. I don't see him doing as well as I just don't see him really taking it to Dubois. I think Dubois is going to be too much for him. So that's my prediction on that. Once again, what up, Tony's Reviews? Just saw you there. I'm about to close it. Oh, what up, Jay Blues? See, that's what I don't like about doing these lives outside. I like doing them because I get to talk with y'all, but unfortunately, it give me a second. Give me a second. But but on the flip side, it makes it harder for me to talk to y'all because of the sun. Like, I turn my brightness on my phone all the way up, and I still can't see the chat that well because of the sun. In order for me to read the chat, I got to go to the shade. Keep in mind, I'm also trying to get my dog to do his business. So yeah, but yeah, that's all I ask is everybody, at least at the very least, take it in consideration to download the PSN app. Shout out to Tommy because he's been helping. You know, he's helping me out with that, and we're trying to come up with workarounds. Because as of right now, as far as we know, if you don't have a PlayStation console that you have signed into at some point, you can't use the chat features. But like I said, we're gonna try to find a workaround on that, and if we can't, then I'm just gonna make a bunch of dummy accounts that I'm gonna have to give out when somebody wants to be on the panel, and it's not gonna be an account that belongs to you. It's just gonna be an account to allow you to get onto the panel. And then, of course, anybody who already has a PSN ID, they could just use their own. And then, all y'all got to do is add me on PSN. And then when I go live, that'll allow me to send it to you. Oh, people see. Hey, Silver Lugia. This is actually the first time I'm seeing you. Welcome. When I said what I said, I don't know if you were addressing me or anybody else. I don't think you're a troll. I don't have an opinion on you right now because this is the first time I remember seeing you. And then I was outside. I can't give anybody a wrench when I'm outside. I'm inside now. I still got to see you more, but that's the other thing. Oh, what up, Martin Ramos? That's the other thing. If you got a wrench and you see somebody and they don't just block them. Don't just don't time them out, because then that becomes a pain in the ass for me. I want people to feel like they can come to my stream and chat. I don't want them to feel like, oh, if I don't agree with this guy, he's not gonna let me talk. That's not what I want. But it doesn't take much. You just gotta come to my streams, and it's not because I'm trying to get the views. It's that I have to see that what you're about before I give you a wrench. And the only way for me to see that is for me to see you in action. That's all there is to it. If I don't see you in action, then I can't, like, who was it that I was just talking about a second ago? Hold on. Silver Lugia. Um, like all you gotta do is show me what you're about, and I'll give you a wrench. But I just because you don't have a wrench doesn't mean I think you're a troll. Might mean that I just haven't seen enough of you to have an opinion on you yet. And I'm not just gonna give somebody a wrench right off the bat and take it away later, because if they start hiding people, then I gotta go and find out who they hid. Then I gotta, go and unhide them myself, and I'd rather not deal with that. I'd rather just vet you a little bit. Once I feel I could trust you, give you a wrench, and then keep it moving. So far, I've only had one incident, and I can't even fully blame the guy who did it. So I didn't take his wrench away. Luja, is that what it would be? Luja? I'm not sure how to say your name, bro. Yeah, but I'm Silver. Come. I'll tell you what, Silver. Do you jump on panels at all? I'm gonna talk to Silver just for a minute. I just want to know, not on the panel. I just want to know if he jumps on panels. So, Silver, do you jump on panels? And if so, do you think you could jump on a panel maybe later today, possibly? Because what I could do is I could talk to you a little bit, you know, and and maybe give you a wrench then. But like I said, I just have to see you more. All right, that's what's up. So, like I said, I I know this could come off as I'm trying to uh make people watch me in order for them to get a wrench. That's I assure you that's not the case. Um I've never been like this guy who is like trying to hoard all the views and stuff. Like I upload videos, I do lives, and whatever views I get is the views I get. I don't I don't overdo it with the self promotion. If anything, I've had people tell me that I need to promote myself more and promote others less. But when it comes to my lives, I just like to make sure that I can trust those who, which, like I said, I for the most part, I give everybody a wrench. Um, and it's worked out for me so far. But it's like I said, I do have to make sure that I could trust you before I give you one, just to make sure that you're not gonna go and start hiding anybody who doesn't have a wrench and start timing people out for no good reason. So not that I don't trust you, is that I don't have an opinion on you. You have to earn it. You still a rookie. That's right. You gotta earn it. And it's like I said, like my standards, I feel I'm very reasonable. I probably, to be honest, I probably should be a little bit more strict on my standards, but I like to try to make everybody feel welcome. And Silver, you definitely welcome. You're definitely welcome. I don't see any reason why not to welcome you yet. So you're welcome to, like I said, maybe I can't guarantee it, but maybe I'll go live later. I got some stuff I gotta do, and then I'll try to go live later. And just let me find out a little bit about what you're about. And no, I'm not talking about that you gotta agree with me on boxing, because I'm not with that either. I'm not here to be in an echo chamber. I'm I'm here to talk boxing with other boxing fans, and we don't have to like the same boxers. We don't have to see things the same. But I do got to make sure you're not gonna troll me and others, like mean trolling. I don't mind friendly trolling. There's a difference. Not all trolling is equal. But if you're I can't have people with wrenches doing mean spirited things to others. That's my point. What up, AA? Yeah, Silver. I'm just gonna call you Silver because I'm not sure I'm pronouncing the second part of your name right. But yeah, that's why I don't watch that guy. Like if you, this is the first time I've seen you, but I'm just gonna say this. Like if you go and you look at my videos and my lives, I really don't talk about other channels, um, or I should say channels that I don't like. I don't like their narratives. I think they're bad for boxing. I think they're bad for the community. You'll notice very rarely, um, very rarely will I talk about them. I talk about the channels that I like all the time. But when it comes to like the channels that I don't like it's fine that you put his name in your comment. I don't mind that, but I'm not gonna say his name because then the second you mention one of these guys' names, it's like, oh, you're a clout chaser, especially when they have more subscribers than you. I had a guy who had less than 100 subscribers say I was clout chasing him once. And I didn't even make a serious video about him. I made a joke video and he took it up the ass. Like if I'm being honest, that's what happened. So, you got guys who have like I'm not a big channel. I got what, 720 or something like that. Um, so I'm not a big channel by any means. But what I'm saying is this. Me having 720 subs and this guy had like 60 at the time. He had the nerve to say I was clout chasing him. Like, what clout do you have? Yeah, like it's like I said, like I'm not trying to flex my sub count because I know my sub count ain't shit. It would be retarded for me to act like I'm some huge channel because that's not the case. I know I'm not a big channel. So I don't even go that route. But if somebody is gonna tell me I'm clout chasing them, they gotta have some clout for me to chase. In my opinion, when your reputation is just to be a fanboy, because that's what that guy's reputation is. I'm not gonna say who he's a fanboy of because that'll give it away. And like I said, I'm not trying to do that. I mean, I did it once just as a joke to the guy, and he lost his shit and said I was clout chasing him. So I'm definitely not gonna do it now. But and once if I were to say who he's a fanboy of, everybody would know. Like that's his reputation. He's a fanboy for this one particular fighter. But anyways, let me stop talking about that. My point is this: like, I'm not gonna talk about the guy that you mentioned. I agree with you 100%. What I mentioned about the echo chamber, that's exactly what that guy does. However, just not gonna mention his name because like I don't want to become one of these channels who's known for just talking about other channels. And just for the record, I don't have a problem with people who talk about other channels. Just don't do it all the time. There's some guys that's all their content is. Oh, so and so is pushing their narrative again. Well, if they're pushing their narrative, stop feeding into it. Like if you do it from time to time, that's one thing. But when 50% or more of your content is, well, so and so said this and they're pushing a narrative and they're bad for the boxing community, like when that's like a majority of your content, that's not really good. So, like I said, I very rarely talk about channels I don't like. Sometimes I think things need to be said, but for the most part, I don't look for reasons to do it. And I still get accused of being a clout chaser. And that's just the way it is, you know, like, unfortunately. I mean, it's kind of like some of the boxing fans, right? And creators will definitely know where I'm coming from with this. Is when you're saying all this stuff that they agree with, and they will tell you, "Oh, you're the realest channel. You keep it real. You're unbiased. You just call it how it is." And the second that you criticize their favorite fighter, you're not hating. You're just criticizing. It's the first time you did it since they started watching you. All of a sudden, you're a hater. You change. You're doing it for views. And it's just like, am I allowed to have my own opinion? Like, it just so happened we had the same opinions up until now, but now we have a difference in opinion, and now I'm a piece of shit. Now I'm pushing a narrative now because I'm saying things that you don't like. Like, either A, I'm just speaking my opinion. You know, it's one thing to say, uh, I'll use Anthony Joshua as an example, since I'm an Anthony Joshua fan. It's one thing to say, oh, Anthony Joshua was cheated in that first Ruiz fight. Oh, he wasn't himself. You know, making excuses. And there's a difference between that and saying, I know he lost, and I'm not taking anything from Ruiz, but I think he's going to win the rematch. And these are the reasons why. You know, there are fans out there that, regardless of which path I took, whether I'm making the excuses or saying, you know what, I just think he'll still win the rematch, there are fans who will call me a nut hugger, regardless, it's because they don't like AJ. I'm sub to Wilder fans, just not sub to Wilder fanboys. You know, Haplotype Zero, that's my boy. Me and him, we we go back probably 5 years. All right, he's a Wilder fan. When he started, um, speaking his mind on Wilder, I didn't, like, giving him praise and stuff. I didn't start calling him a fanboy. I didn't start insulting him. I didn't see him as the enemy all of a sudden. You know, we've talked about Wilder and Fury and AJ, and we've had every conversation we've had has been civil. We've never insulted each other. We've never went to, at least I can speak for myself. I can't speak for him, but I'm pretty sure I'll say this. I feel confident saying this. I know for a fact that I haven't gone to no hangouts or behind the scenes shit and talk shit about Haplotype Zero behind his back. And I feel pretty confident that he hasn't done the same for me. You know, I'm pretty confident he hasn't gone and talked shit about me just because I don't like Wilder. And that's because we're men. We understand, as men have their own opinions. They don't just go with an opinion just because that's everybody else's opinion. Everybody else that we're cool with's opinion. So that's to me, Haplotype Zero is a perfect example of that. Me and him, we're cool. We're friends. We've been friends for a while. And at the end of the day, all right, I know Haplotype Zero better than I know AJ. I'm not gonna shit on my friend over a guy I've never, not that I've met Haplo in person, but I can at least say me and Haplo have had conversations. We've had conversations in chat, and we've had conversations in comments, and we've had conversations on panels. Anthony Joshua has never as so much as said hi to me. So I'm not going to shit on my friend just because he's not an AJ fan and I'm an AJ fan. That's the difference between fans and fanboys. I just gave you all that shit for free. You're welcome. Yeah. I know I said I was closing it, but I'm gonna talk a little bit longer because I'm getting ready. And once I'm once I'm done getting ready, I got some shit I gotta do. So then I'm gonna let y'all go. But until I'm ready, I'm gonna talk to y'all. Because I think these are things that really need to be addressed. You know, like just ask yourself, like, do I end friendships over a man that has never even said hi to me? If the answer is yes, you just might be a fanboy. You just might. I'm not ending no friendships over AJ, Crawford, um, Loma. I'm not a Lopez fan, but I appreciate him, and I think he is the man at 135. And I will defend him, but I'm not going to end a friendship over him. Now, if somebody decides to end their friendship with me over their guy, and like let's say I was defending uh, Lopez in a debate, and they decide to end the friendship because they don't like Lopez, or because of they like a fighter, but they've never even talked to them, that's on them. But as for me, I won't be ending any friendships over any of these guys. These guys have managers, these guys have families, they have friends of their own, and I'm sure they're nice people, but I'm not going to be ending any friendships over AJ or or I never ended a friendship over Keith Thurman. I've had till this day. I'm still cool with. I don't watch his content all that much anymore, but I would still consider him a friend, and that's Shady Slim. And and when I was riding hard for Keith Thurman, he was shitting on Keith Thurman, shitting on him hard. But here's the thing, though. There's been times where I've gone through hard times in my life, or maybe not even hard times. Maybe it's just hard, or maybe not even hard times in my life. Maybe just hard times in the community. You know, being trolled or being disrespected by certain people. Shady Slim, he checked up on me. He reached out to me. So a guy who had my back, I'm gonna shit on him because he has a difference of opinion on Keith Thurman. Fuck out of here. Like, to me, that's kid shit. You don't like the guy I like, so we're enemies. Like that's bullshit. Let's call a spade a spade. Like that is not a way to live your life. You get to know anybody long enough, you get to know enough about anybody, you're gonna find out there's some shit y'all don't agree on. Some of y'all disagree with your spouses on multiple things, and you still love them. You would still take a bullet for them, but you disagree on one little petty thing on boxing, and all of a sudden the friendship gotta end. Think about that. Think about that. Like to me that's bullshit. And I don't know if Xavier's still in here, but like I'm actually happy to hear that him and Nick are cool now. And they went head to head in a competition. So see what I'm saying? Like sometimes in the disagreement, sometimes in the competition, you get to know and respect each other more. But a lot of people in the community don't even give people the chance to do that. They want to disrespect people who may be cool people. And I know I went way off on a tangent. Like I started this conversation as real, like, laid back and shit, but I just think this is stuff that needs to be said. Like, we can't act like We can judge somebody as a person solely off of their opinion on boxing. And that is why I do not talk shit about some of these guys. I'm gonna be honest. I do think that they're pieces of shit, and it really doesn't have anything to do with their boxing knowledge, their boxing opinion. It has everything to do with how they carry themselves. Like if you're on here calling, like there's one guy who will, and excuse my language, will call people he disagrees with who are waiting backstage, he will call them a faggot. The person hasn't even made it to, they're still backstage. They can't defend themselves. They haven't had a chance to say, hi, how you doing? Or fuck you, you're a bitch. They haven't been given a chance to say anything, to do anything. But when you're backstage, and anybody who's been backstage knows this, you can hear the shit that the people on the panel are saying. They just can't hear you. And neither can anybody else listening to the broadcast. So this guy will bring people on so he could debate them, but he keeps them backstage for a couple minutes so that he can insult them before they even get on. He doesn't give a chance for a civil conversation. He doesn't. He'd rather call you a bitch and a faggot and a weirdo, even though he's talking about Wilder's, and I quote, big Alabama dick, end quote. And he got the nerve to call other dudes weirdos and faggots before they even make it onto his panel. When really, he could be helping build the community by bringing the person on and saying, I understand that you disagree with me on Wilder. You know, um, tell me a little bit about that. Why do you not like Wilder? What is it about Wilder that you don't like? He's not even willing to go. He's not willing to have a real conversation. In reality, that graveyard that he likes to call it is just a fucking circus. And y'all know who I'm talking about. I don't even have to say his name. And that's what I'm saying. It don't gotta be that way. You could be a normal person talking boxing, but for some reason people gravitate to that bullshit. And I refuse to do that, you know. So I hope I'm making sense to y'all. I hope that maybe some people who maybe haven't cared, and that's the thing. Like, I believe in second chances. I believe in third chances, fourth chances, fifth chances, sixth chances. Just because you've done it in the past doesn't make you a shitty person. Maybe you just needed that outside perspective, which is what I'm giving to y'all right now. Um, and it's not too late to change. Like, you're still alive, you're still in the community, you can still change the way that you do things. But calling somebody a faggot just because they don't like your guy is pretty homo-ish in my opinion. Just being real. Like, you're gonna disrespect a man who may have kids, who may have a wife, they got loved ones. You have no idea what they're doing in their community. They could be out there. They could have. Yesterday was Thanksgiving. They could have been in a soup kitchen yesterday serving the homeless. You're over here calling them a faggot just because you don't like their boxing opinion. Tell me how that makes sense. Tell me how that makes you better than that person. If anybody can tell me how you're a better person because you call somebody a faggot, but it turns out Thanksgiving Day they were out feeding the homeless. You tell me. Like, there's no studies out there that automatically say that Wilder detractors are pieces of shit. And that goes for any boxer. We just have difference of opinion. It doesn't have to be that serious. But here's the thing though, you make it that serious when you start talking about people's families, when you start doxing people, you start disrespecting people as a man or a woman. And it's all over bullshit. Like, you're doing it for people who don't know you exist. AJ doesn't know I exist. So why am I going to shit on my friend just because he's not an AJ fan? I wish somebody would explain that to me. Just give me a second. We're just giving y'all a warning. We are nearing the end of the stream because I'm almost ready. I do appreciate y'all joining me. I really hope that anybody who maybe hasn't carried themselves in the best way maybe takes what I said into consideration, because I would love for you to be a productive member of the YTBC. You know, like, and here's another thing, right? I'm gonna say this too. When you find out that somebody is a member of the LDBC, I know this is like a very controversial thing here. Like, there's people who literally hate the LDBC, all right? And don't get me wrong, I don't like a lot of what they do either, but that's not why I'm bringing them up. This is why I'm bringing them up, right? If you come across a LDBC member and they are willing to talk to you, and I mean talk to you, not that shit that bitch does, you know, calling people faggots just because. Because believe it or not, they're out there. Okay, D Hodges, shout out to him. He's a member of LDBC, but and he's even cool with some people who have talked a lot of shit about me. But here's the thing, all right? I understand I got people who I'm cool with who are not cool with each other, all right? He doesn't have to be cool with everybody I'm cool with. He doesn't have to hate everybody that I'm not cool with. But D Hodges, he's never disrespected me. He's actually showed me a lot of respect. He greets me every time he sees me in a chat. And he supports the community. He doesn't support just the LDBC. So I'm gonna just say this too, like, just because somebody says they're LDBC, don't judge them solely on that. All right. Because if you do that, to be honest, you're not much better than the guys over there who will shit on you and talk shit to you just because you're not a member of the LDBC. You know, I know a lot of people get a little carried away with it and they want to call them the, you know, another version of the KKK and shit like that. But the reality is this, they're not like the KKK. All right. They're just not. We got to stop calling people KKK members and Nazis and neo-Nazis just because we don't get along. We need to do our best to get to the root of the problem. You know, we need to come up with solutions, and that's my solution. Treat everybody as an individual, respect each other. If you disagree on boxing, doesn't mean you have to hate each other to their core. You don't got to go and start trying to dock somebody just because they like somebody that you don't like. Like, just when I put in those words, it sounds fucking retarded, but that's what happens. We got guys who will literally try to ruin other people's lives, fuck with their families, who may not even be aware of what's going. You know, they don't give a. Their families don't give a shit about boxing. We come on here because we can't talk boxing with our families because they don't give a shit about boxing. But you got innocent bystanders, people who are just because they're related. You know, just because they're related to you, they're gonna get fucked with just because. Just because. Think about that shit. All right, I'm gonna take a look at the chat real quick, and then I'm gonna end it. What up, Alex Ramirez? Um, yeah, Silver, you knew exactly who I was talking about. Ding, ding, ding. You got it right, sir. Lance Meyer, what up? And even though you're an introvert, you could still be a productive member of the YTBC. You want to know something? I'm introvert. I'm not extrovert. I have some. I'm not gonna lie. I have some extrovert qualities. Okay, I'm not. I'm not a 100% introvert, and that I don't know if you are or not. But I can only speak for myself. I'm not 100% introvert, but I would say I'm more introvert than extrovert. All right. Um, and there's nothing wrong with being introvert, but you can still be a productive member of the community. You know what I'm saying? Like me, for instance, I don't have the biggest channel, right? But a lot of the big channels know me. And for the most part, they respect me. That's exactly what you can be as well. All right, where the fuck are my keys? Probably left them out in the kitchen. But yeah, like, oh here, yep, I left them in the kitchen. But yeah, just take these things I said into consideration. Like, don't get me wrong, there's definitely pieces of shit in the community. I am not gonna deny that. But sometimes I think there's people who get caught up in the crossfire just because of what they claim, because they claim they're part. It's happened to me. But the solution is not to go and do the same shit that they're doing to me. I got called a UGC weirdo one time just because I was in the comment section of somebody else that I respect. I respect their opinion. I don't agree with it, but I still respect it. And I was trying to help them out. I was in their comment section letting them know about a video they did that got taken down due to copyright. I'm over here forgetting shit. And one of his homeboys called me a UGC weirdo. All right, now I'm looking out for the person that they support. I'm letting him know, hey, your last video, it got taken down due to copyright. I'm just letting you know that way you can make adjustments to the video and re-upload it. Because as a creator, there's nothing that sucks more than putting a lot of work into a video and then nobody can even watch it because YouTube has blocked the video altogether. You know, so I'm trying to help him out. One of his boys, just because he knows I'm a UGC member, calls me a UGC weirdo. Starting shit with me, and it's like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, do actions not count for shit? Like your action should, like the old saying goes, actions speak louder than words. I'm over here trying to help out the guy you consider to be a brother, and instead of saying, you know what, I know we've had, my clique and your clique have had their differences, but I do appreciate you coming through, looking out for one of our own. Maybe we have y'all pegged wrong. Instead of doing that, nope. I get the fuck you. You're a weirdo. Just because. Like, I don't respect that. I'm never gonna respect that. That's not a respectable stance. People should be judged accordingly to their actions, not because of like what a group. That's how racism starts. You're naturally a certain skin color, and people want to shit on you because of it. They don't give a shit that you're a good person. They don't give a shit that you know how how you contribute to the community. They don't even give a shit that you're helping one of their own. The fact of the matter is, because you're not one of us, you're a piece of shit. That's little kid shit. That's not respectable. Now y'all excuse me while I brush my motherfucking teeth. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. Appreciate everybody who hung around. What up, Boxing Jedi? Um, Not to toot my own horn, but I think I was on fire just a little while ago. Like I was talking about a lot of stuff that I think needed to be said, and I didn't even mean to take it there. It just went there naturally. Um, just talking about how we conduct ourselves in the community. Um, and I would strongly recommend for anybody, and like I said, I don't even like to self promote like that, but I think some of the things I said um over the last, I don't know, maybe 10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes, think are things that people really need to hear. Um so, anybody who didn't catch my little rant, um I suggest that you go and rewind it maybe 20 minutes and see what I was talking about. But yeah, just want to say happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Whether you celebrate it or not, there's never a bad day to spend time with the family. There's never a bad day to be thankful. Like I know a lot of people they're against Thanksgiving because of, you know, how the natives were done. Trust me, I don't like that shit. Injustice for one is injustice for all. But the reality is this: what's done is done. And even throughout the negatives, you can draw some positives. And that's the way I see it. So like we have a day that a lot of people get off work. And even with this coronavirus, right? It's been it's been really challenging for a lot of us. Some people lost jobs, like I know of some people that they went to a family reunion, and even though it's a family reunion, the people who are hosting the family reunion, they made everybody sleep in tents. Instead of having everybody come into the house, they had to sleep in tents. They took, like, I don't know if you ever seen one of those bedside commodes they have at the hospitals. They took one of those, they cut out the bottom of it, they put a hole in the ground, and they set up a tent. They set up a tent. Um, I had to get work on my car done, and ever since, it's been acting kind of funky. But there we go. So they set up a tent, they dug a hole, and they got one of those bedside commodes and cut the bottom of it off of it. So you weren't sitting on the ground, but you were definitely shitting in the ground. So a lot of people didn't celebrate Thanksgiving yesterday. But here's what I'm saying, all right. Even with all this coronavirus, one of the good things that came out is the people who normally had to work on Thanksgiving. I'm not talking about people who are laid off, because I'm sure people would much rather work on Thanksgiving than be somebody who is laid off. But there's people who still have a job who normally would have to work on Thanksgiving who got Thanksgiving off. Walmart, Target, a lot of these big stores that are normally open every day except for Christmas were closed yesterday. And I think that's a good thing when people can spend time with their families on a day that's meant to be, it's like I said, like, do I agree with what happened to the Indians? Do I agree with everything that Thanksgiving represents? Not everything. But one thing that is good is when the nation takes a day to at the very least be thankful and to allow people to have the day off and spend time with their families. That's a good thing. Unfortunately, there's people who still have to work. If you work in a hospital, you have to work, like, unless Thanksgiving Day just so happens to be the day they gave you off, you got to work. And we got to be thankful for those people. Because some of us got people who are in the hospital, some of them fighting for their lives, and it helps that those nurses are there. If they shut down the hospitals even for a single day, we'd be there. There'd be a lot of people who would be fucked, and that's just me keeping it real. They would literally be fucked. So we got to be thankful for those people. What up, diehard casuals? I know that maybe what I'm talking about right now doesn't mean anything to you because Thanksgiving is an American holiday, but anytime that y'all have a chance to be thankful, definitely take that chance, or take advantage of the chance. But anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and end it because I gotta get going. But everybody, be safe. Um, Silver, I think you've earned your rents today. So unfortunately, I can't give it to you at the moment. But you don't have to jump on the live. Next time I go live, just leave something in the chat so I can rent you up. All right. But you don't even because I went longer than I had anticipated, and I feel like I've seen enough from you to say that you deserve a wrench. So round of applause for Silver. He earned his wrench. Like I said, I kind of have to vet people because if I don't, I could end up with a shitstorm. But I don't foresee any problems with you, Silver. So looking forward to seeing you in the future. Whenever I go live next, could be today. I'm not making any promises, but whenever I go live next, if you show up, as long as I can get to my tablet, I will mod you up. All right. But everybody, be safe. Think about the things that I said. At the very least, I say just take it in consideration. But everybody have a blessed day. Peace.